Cool. Some quotes or notes from the chapter. Please jump. Some quotes or notes from the chapter. Please jump in where you feel necessary. I'm not too sure. I can't remember where we left off.
Don't do that.
We're starting again.
Don't do that.
The final chapter.
Oh, Jesus. Come on, man.
The final chapter. The third chapter. Do you want me to start again? No? It takes talent to make money, but brains to keep it. I found this interesting given the current climate, but also that saving and investing is a skill. Next bullet point. The level... What's going on here?
That's Mace. No, that was Mace.
The level of risk to make it is not the level of risk you use to keep it. The ice bath treatment. The author was using the analogy of athletes having ice baths for recovery and maintenance of their body.
Who's the author?
Franklin Asante. Suggesting we do so for our money. Find ways to maintain our wealth.
Welcome to the Fully Booked Podcast. You have myself, Mace. Why you?
That is over animated.
Why are you laughing? Welcome to the Fully Booked Podcast. You have myself, Mace.
Must.
Come on,
That was low.
He laughed as well. But he's got good reason to laugh.
bro. I'm really going to stretch, bro. Welcome to the Fully Booked Podcast. You have myself, Mace.
So,
What's going on
that was my fault.
Hey, man, we're going to book it back in, man.
That was my fault.
Welcome to the Fully Booked Podcast. You have myself, Mace.
Just carry on. Let's carry on.
Yeah, let's keep going.
No, last one. All right, Mo, last time, sorry.
You thought about like retirement and what age you want to retire, if you want to retire.
I haven't thought about the age I would like to retire. No, I mean, I'm beginning to think about retirement a lot, actually, just in kind of based on what I said there as well, as to you're not going to be fit and young forever, and that you're not going to be able to do as much as you used to do. And I think, as I'm going to go on to say, or I might have said already, at one given point, you need to rely on what you've built or what you've saved, etc., etc. So I'm beginning to think about retirement a lot, but not an age in which I would like to retire. I'm beginning to think about the skill sets that I'm acquiring as well, and how I'm going to be able to use them as I get older as well. In that, again, as we get older, you're not going to be able to be moving around, etc., etc. Can you, I don't know, use your mind, for example, to do certain things? You know what I mean? Can I be a bit more remote and do things? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how I'm beginning to think about retirement.
Do you think you'll ever retire though?
That's also a good question as well, because I think that landscape is changing. I believe I'll retire. I'm not too sure whether I'd want to retire. Depends what I'm doing at the time. Do you know what I mean? So I guess there are things that I'm beginning to think about as well, as to what I'm doing, how much I'm currently enjoying it, and will I enjoy it obviously when I get maybe a little bit older as well. But I like to believe I'll want to retire, because even at this moment in time, on the way here, I was thinking how tired I am. In 5, 10, 15 years time, you know, I'm sure that's going to be a little bit different in regards to being fatigued, you know what I mean? And if I've planned well, or I've become as successful as I would like to be, then obviously I might have 1 or 2 infrastructures and things in place which might kind of like help and assist me. But, you know, I don't know, like, yeah, like you might not have those infrastructures and things in place, and that doesn't mean you haven't been successful, but if those sort of things are not in place, then, you know, things will be difficult. Yourself?
Sorry.
I just turned around, mate.
No, sorry. Retirement. Do you know, the funny thing is, remember I said I was out every day last week, and one of those days, I was catching the train back to London Bridge, and the person that was also at the meeting I was at, who was from a different company to where I work, we started chatting just for the first time about stuff that wasn't work related, like family life and all the rest of it. She's a little bit older, so I think she said she was like 50. But one of the things she said was she talked about retirement, because she's told me like she had designed and got kind of like her dream house now. She's got a massive house and that, which like she anyway, she doesn't know how she got that, but she got the house. But what she hadn't factored in was, what I didn't realize is I've spent all this money in this house and I've done it up to my desire, whatever. I've got a daughter who's 15 and, you know, and that's it. But me and my husband now, we're going to have to work a little bit longer to pay off this mortgage for this massive house that we bought. And she was like, the only advice, one of the advices or words I can give to you, being like someone, young dad, whatever. Well, she gave me 2 pieces of advice. One was, think about when you'd like to retire and work back to your age now. And what does that look like? How do you get there? What do you need to retire? And then secondly, it was, because I was speaking to her about the fact that I'll probably need a bigger place like in the very near future and options and whatnot. She was like, weigh up the need for a bigger place against your support network, because trust me, you'd much rather be cramped, for lack of a better term, where you are and have the support than be in the sticks and not have the support. And she said, that's coming from someone with 1 child. So that was the 2 pieces of advice she gave me. So yeah, so it's funny that she brought up that retirement thing, because it only started to get me thinking. Because actually, I think it depends on the individual. My granddad, from my dad's side, he worked for years and years, like for years past retirement, but I think he enjoyed it. Like he would cycle down to the station, catch a train, do a night shift somewhere. It might have been like overnight, like office watch or something, like security watch overnight. But he loved it. Like he was doing that in his late 60s, 70s. Like he proper loved that. And I think that kept him going to some extent. It's only when he was starting to have accidents, cycling to the station, next minute, hey, his granddad's fallen off his bike and all that. He had to actually pack it in. And then gradually he slowed down. But I think he enjoyed that. So I think if like, in terms of retirement, if I kind of retired and had nothing to do, like say like by like God willing, my sons have grown up, they've moved out, they've got on with their lives, and it's going to leave me with nothing much to do. Maybe I want to do a couple of days a week, but I wouldn't want the feeling of having to do it. Does that make sense? Just to keep me busy, have some pocket money coming in, that kind of thing. But I haven't, in terms of an age specific, I haven't thought about an age specific as to when to retire. I know some people like by their 50s, they want to be out of this working world. Like I haven't thought that far ahead, if I'm honest. But I definitely, by the time I'm in my 60s or 60, I want to be in a position where I'm like, I'm choosing to do a few hours. I'm choosing to work because either A, I enjoy it, B, it keeps me busy, C, it keeps me social, whatever it is. That's where I want to be in a position where it's my choice. So that's kind of my target.
Do you reckon there's a number that you want to retire on?
As in an age number?
Nah, as in like financial number.
I'm not gonna say a number, because you know what, in 10 years that number might be insignificant. So I couldn't even give you a number. I'm thinking more like perhaps asset wise, like where I can like sell something, whether that's a physical asset or what's the non-physical
Liquid?
Intangible, when you can't touch it, intangible or something? Whatever it's called.
So.
Yeah. Whether it's that kind of asset, whether it's stocks, whatever, something I can sell and then I'm like, okay, I'm good or whatever, like I'm fine. If that makes sense. Like I'll be all right. This will tide me over with my pension or, yeah. That's what I'm thinking rather than a number specific.
What about you, Pete?
Probably very similar. What I was going to add though was, I think the conversations in which I might have had with yourself and Lawrence as well, but I've had them with my brother, and my brother probably more specifically, and maybe my mum, is that I would like to ensure that there is a house like sorted and done, etc., in Ghana, and likewise between the 3 of us, there's a house bought, secured, paid for, etc., here as well, because I think between the 3 of us, in terms of siblings, for as long as you've got somewhere to live when you've retired, that's all I really care about. Do you know what I mean? And the rest, I don't want to say the rest will sort itself out, because you don't want to leave that to chance when you get to that age. But at this moment in time, they're the things that I'm beginning to think about. I know you've mentioned once or twice before as to like you don't necessarily want to be, let's say, for example, a property mogul, but actually in having a property or 2 in which you can sell off once you get to that age. Those are the things that I've kind of like thought about as well, because obviously I've mentioned before that like property is not necessarily, well, I haven't got one property, but like property is not necessarily my thing in terms of my interest, but actually there is an interest in terms of actually investing in a property, very similar to yourself, that actually when you get to retirement age, you can sell it off and be able to live off that or be comfortable off that. Do you know what I mean? But that's not what I'm thinking about in terms of what would be my way out in some respect. Do you know what I mean? I like to believe one or two other things will be in place come what might be retirement age. But as we're even discussing it and even thinking about it, irrespective of being tired right now, I don't know, I think I'm going to be busy up until what will be like real, like the current retirement age, you know what I mean? I just don't ever see myself actually chilling out and relaxing. I think there's a part of me that feels I'll be able to sail off into the sunset, but that's never ever been my way at this moment in time. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if we're getting busier and busier as life has kind of like developed, but I've never been that person where I've just kind of like chilled and relaxed. You know, I'm looking for a day off. Do you know what I mean? And that never really happens. You might get a couple hours to yourself and stuff like that, but I've never been really chill. So I don't know what makes me think that's going to happen late into my 60s, 70s and 80s. Do you know what I mean? I think I like being occupied in some respect, very similar to like your granddad. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I think anyway.
Cool.
Do you have an age number in mind, or do you have like a position in mind in your head that you'd want to be at for retirement?
Nah, I don't have a specific age. I think I will always, not always, but I'll have a retirement, so to speak, but it'll be a semi-retirement. Because I think when I personally anyway, when I don't have no particular routine or have something to do or know that I'm going to be doing this, then life just becomes boring and just somewhat tedious. And I think that's when you start to decline mentally and just like when there's nothing to push towards or even push against. Like there's no hill to go up. When there's no hill to go up, then you're only going back down. So
good analogy.
The way I see it is just get to a point where I'm comfortable that I don't have to work, like you said. It's not going to be a priority in my life, but I will make sure that I've got something in line, whether it's mentoring, coaching, or giving back, so to speak. So that's definitely something I want to do long term. But I don't have a specific age or a specific number, like you said, but having assets is definitely something I'm going to continue to work towards.
I don't know if it's different to your initial question in regards to retirement, but does it concern you? Because what I would say is, like, in recent weeks might be the wrong length, but in recent time, I began to think about retirement a lot more than I would have done maybe even 12 months ago, actually. Do you know what I mean? So, like, does it concern you at all? Do you know what I mean? Given where we are in this climate as to whether it's tariffs, unemployment, etc., the job market not being as healthy as it was, you know, like in recent time, you know, does it concern you at all?
I wouldn't say it concerns me per se, but like yourself, I do think about it, but I try to have things in place that will supplement any other kind of, I guess, income. So doing the work now, so things, for example, having stocks and shares and just having that as a portfolio and just keep on investing just over time. And obviously you've got, what's the word?
Nest egg.
Not even that. It's going to come to me in a second. But essentially, having other things in place where if shit hits the fan, then you can, as we said, sell off assets and have things in place that will kind of be a blanket, but like a net, so to speak.
Safety net. Is that the word?
Safety net. Yeah, safety net. So, yeah, it doesn't keep me up at night, but I'm very aware of it being a thing. So, yeah, got to keep those things in mind.
Cool. And yourself?
What's that?
Does do you have any concerns? Yeah, I think
Compound effect. That's what
okay, cool.
Yeah, so you're saying?
So do you have any concerns about retirement?
I'll be honest, I don't even think that far ahead. Maybe
Okay.
Which I probably should be doing, but I don't even think that far ahead, man. I'm so, at the moment, in the here and now. I can't even think beyond next week, mate. At the moment, as it stands.
Yeah, but you've got a young family, so
yeah,
understandable.
Yeah. But it's mad actually. Whilst you were talking about retirement, I was thinking, actually, no, that'd be giving away our ages. But yeah, crack on.
I mean, he likes to shout it out all the time.
I know. But we're probably about halfway through this kind of our what you call working age. If you look at kind of traditional retirement ages and traditionally when you get your NI card, we're pretty much, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Spank in the middle.
And sorry, I forgot my question. It was and do you think so? What would the age? So what would be the appropriate age where you think you should start thinking about retirement? I mean, because I don't know if we're thinking about it too late.
I just think they dot, man. How do I get out of this?
Yeah.
I guess
If
so.
if I'd had this foresight beforehand, I would have been thinking about it from early 20s.
Okay, cool. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, because I don't think I was. I mean, I'm not saying I wasn't. No, I probably wasn't thinking about. I definitely wasn't thinking about retirement. You know, in your mind, I think you have that. Yeah, by 40, do you know what I mean? I want to be easy, this, that, and the third. But the idea of retirement and what retirement really involves, I don't think I understood it properly. Do you know what I mean? And I think, given again where we are now, I mean, because I think life will have so many different peaks and troughs and stuff like that. Not your own life specifically, but I'm talking about the economic landscape. You know, I think you need to be prepared, and I'm just unsure as to whether everyone is prepared. You know what I mean? I think maybe over the past 12 months or so, with the emergence of whether it's a Simon Squibb or Gary Economics and stuff like that, people are beginning to maybe develop a better understanding of like where we are. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Staying on top of government legislation to keep your wealth. It might not be legislation as such, but we discuss alternative ways to keep your wealth, such as bonds early in the season. Instability causes widespread concern, reduces consumer confidence and the future outlook. I think it's interesting given the recent introduction and removal of tariffs. Question, do you know the current interest rate?
No.
Okay. I only asked the question because if someone asked me, I wouldn't know and couldn't tell you if it's high or low. But I think you're very good with that type of stuff.
Yeah. Ish. I don't know where it is, but I could hazard a guess.
Cool. I'll continue. Do you want to guess?
No.
I mean, okay, because I know you're peering over and all that, so like, wasn't too sure. Anyway, interest rise, primarily to combat inflation by cooling down economic activity. When inflation...
Are you going to tell us what it is?
Yeah, we'll do when we get to the end. All right. When inflation is high, central banks raise interest rates to reduce demand for goods and services.
Write it down, and then I can tell you don't think I'm... Anyway, go on.
Okay, cool. Thereby slowing down price increases. Additionally, factors like increased demand for money, government borrowing, and changes in money supply can also contribute to rising interest rates.
Go on.
I think I've got, this is what I wrote down. I wrote down 4.6.
Oh, look what I've just written.
I know, because you're busy peering over, mate. The whole time I was reading,
This guy, brother, you've got font 6 on your phone.
What did he write there?
What are you talking about, brother?
What did he put there?
This guy's a hater. He's such a hater. He's such a
people want to watch it back.
French, I put 4.5.
Yeah, he was peering over.
And we don't even know if he's right or I'm right, but
he was peering over.
Just because I got close, this guy's a
peering
hater,
over,
bro.
I'm reading. What can you do?
Could you say right?
I can see his face right here.
This guy's a hater, man.
Anyway,
Rastafari.
Are you going to confirm what it is?
a 4.6 interest rate can be considered relatively moderate to high, depending on the context. It is likely considered...
What is it now?
Right now, 4.6, but we can Google it, but it's 4.6. Current interest rate. I'll continue.
What is it?
4.5. So it was, at the time of writing, it was 4.6. That's what it is.
Just
Anyway.
give a man his flowers, man.
Yeah, he's got a phone. He was Googling it, mate. Anyway, it's likely considered a good rate for saving accounts, but it's also a rate that is still relatively high for mortgages, especially compared to historic lows. How do interest rates affect your wealth? Do you know?
Go ahead.
Cool, thank you.
Bro, I'm here too. You can ask me if I know, bro.
How?
There's various ways. I think a couple of them would be. You've mentioned a couple of them in that. If you're on like a variable mortgage, for instance, then it's going to affect your outgoings. It's going to affect your shopping bills if it's a high. But at the same,
so I'm just looking at my notes.
Yeah, okay. At the same time, as you said, it can also, if you're someone who's saving, you can probably get a higher interest rate by putting some money aside or away.
Amazing. Interest rates affect your wealth in a few key ways,
talk to them,
depending
man.
on whether you're saving, borrowing, or investing. If you're saving, higher interest rates usually mean you earn more in your saving accounts and bonds. Your money grows faster over time, just sitting in the bank or in fixed income investments. Lower rates mean your savings grow more slowly. If you're borrowing, higher rates make it more expensive to borrow for things such as mortgages, car loans, or credit cards. More of your money goes towards paying interest, which can reduce your ability to save or invest, slowing your wealth growth, sorry. Lower rates make borrowing cheaper, leaving you with more cash for other things.
This is basic. Sorry. Did I say that out loud?
How rude. If you're investing, there's quite a few. Anyway, if you're investing, high interest rates can hurt the value of stocks, especially growth stocks, because future profits are worth less when rates rise, and borrowing for businesses get more expensive. Bonds might offer better returns though. Lower rates often push people towards stock, real estate, which can drive the prices up, increasing your wealth if you own those assets. So in short, higher rates equal better for savers, worse for borrowers, mixed for investors. Lower rates equal worse for savers, better for borrowers, and usually good for asset owners. Question. With reports of several millionaires leaving to protect their wealth, could you see yourself leaving the UK for better opportunities?
Yeah.
Full 400.
Definitely.
400.
Without hesitation.
And I swear, every single day, I think about it more. I don't know how you guys, if that's the same with you guys.
I'm currently looking.
Heavy.
Oh, so you're genuinely looking at this moment in time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I can't remember my thinking at the time of writing this question, actually. But I think it was based on...
French is in that millionaire bracket, boy. That's how he needs to get.
Do you know what's funny? So yeah, so I think it speaks to it. No, because obviously that's what the question stated.
Yeah.
With millionaires moving away, obviously, to, let's say, protect their assets and their wealth, we might be... buying French anyway, we might be in a different bracket as such. We might be in a different bracket, but like I don't know if people such as me and you are looking for different opportunities away. Do you know what I mean?
I think mine is definitely, lifestyle.
Yeah,
and lifestyle, and obviously the financial aspect as well. But lifestyle at the moment is just. It could have because the week I had last week. I said to you guys coming up here, my week last week was just. I didn't have a moment. Like I was in between one part of depths of south and depths of north for the whole week. Then weekend was just non-stop. I'm like, this ain't a lifestyle.
Oh, it's not even a case of being a millionaire, which I'm not yet. But it's more like you're saying, lifestyle, and just there's nothing holding me here as it stands. Like, you know what I mean? I've got no dependent, so I'm in a position to leave as it stands, and just this
experience.
Bro, like every time I go abroad, I just feel more of myself.
It's gonna use a different one. What did?
I feel like more of myself, just like it's just a different kind of freedom. But maybe that could be
the holiday,
because you're on holiday
feeling,
and there's no responsibilities. But I still feel I'd rather go to a place where you've got more of a social life in terms of day to day, and it's a lot more relaxed, and there's more, I guess, I wouldn't say more to do, because I would never knock London as being a place where there's nothing to do. There's always something on. It's always busy, so to speak. There's always an event, or there's somewhere to go, something to see. But it comes with the rest of it. It's just sometimes the energy here could be very almost down, like down on your, not down on the luck so much, but it's just heavy at times. Just like, I just need to break out and get away from the constant not roller coaster, but what's the
hamster wheel? You're thinking
hamster wheel. So I'm currently just looking at opportunities abroad. To be fair, that's just more of a lifestyle thing and just getting more for your money. But at the same time, when you go to these other places, if you're getting a wage just over there, then you're gonna be in the same boat. So the good thing is having a wage that you would get over here, but going into somewhere else where your money's gonna last longer.
Stretch further.
Yeah. So that's the intention.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you got any ideas on where you might go? I mean, not to.
I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't. Do you know what? Someone announced that they were leaving where I currently work and then we're moving to Dubai. And this, just like I actually don't have any interest in moving to Dubai as it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
But the fact that that announcement came out, we just take a step back and think, like, I've been so engulfed in this. Actually, I was thinking about this 2-3 years ago. Like, where can my life take me? So I don't have a particular place. All I know is that it would have to enhance my lifestyle, and hopefully, hopefully also enhance my financial position. But if lifestyle was first and financially it's kind of like on par or even slightly below par where we are, but lifestyle was a lot better, that would even be a consideration. The only other thing, preferably outside of Europe, just because I feel like, we're in Europe. I just find Europe too similar to weather-wise, weather-wise mainly, and actually, it depends what part of Europe. But
yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, it depends what your part. Yeah. But I don't know. I just find Europe. I want to go further through where the culture is completely different.
Okay,
that's what it is. So I'd rather go somewhere the culture is completely different.
Well, like Southeast Asia or something.
Asia, or I don't even. What continent does like the Middle East come under?
Africa.
Does it come under? Does the Middle East come under Africa?
It's in Africa.
But does it come under African continent?
I don't think so. But they don't. They just usually say the Middle East. You know what I mean?
It's in Africa. Though.
Yeah, but
is that the continent? I actually don't. I need to Google that. Is that the continent that it comes under?
It's in Africa. That's all. I see it. I see the map, and it's there.
Yeah, because you kind of got. Hold on. If you go down this way, I know Libya's there. Like, I don't know why I've picked up Libya, but I know then you start coming this way, you start to come into those Middle East, like Libya, and
so like where does Saudi Arabia fall under?
Anything that way,
we're talking about the same place. All right. I guess my point is,
my eyes tell me.
I've never
like Lebanon and these kind of places. That's what I'm trying to say.
I've never cared to debate that with them. So I don't even want to say with them.
So even like all the Afghanistans and them. That's Asia, innit?
That's Asia to me.
No, but that's Asia. Sorry, the stans are Asia, like Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan.
I knew you would go there.
No, I'm pretty sure they're Asia, but then they're like bridging with the Middle East.
What, are you thinking about going to the Middle East?
No, maybe, but anyway, Africa. No, I don't know, man. Honestly, but I would. Yeah, I actually don't know. Like, it's not even like I'm saying, look, this is my region. I haven't even started really focusing, but I know this lifestyle cannot be sustained as it stands, bro. It's not making sense. Like, I'm just kind of just grinding.
Working to live.
Yeah, it's just a lot. So I need something back for my hard-earned effort. So I'm gonna put in this much effort. I want something back, like as in, some of my sanity. Not, you know what I'm saying? Just some of my life.
Peace of mind, at least.
Something back, bro. But then you've got people that obviously done their stint in those places and come back.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe I need to sit down with you guys. Why have you come? Like, is it actually like? Is it something? Is it played out? Do you know what I'm saying?
You got to take into consideration some of the amenities that we have over here. So. I think
healthcare and stuff like that.
That's what I was gonna say. So I think eventually, I'll be honest, I would probably go back and forth from here.
Yeah.
Have a base here and also have a base abroad. Yeah. Which I know a few people do.
Yeah.
Because there are certain standards that are here that you're not gonna get elsewhere. They tend to fall to the not wayside, but they do decline, so to speak, in certain things such as healthcare and things of that nature. So as you're getting older, you're going to be wanting to think of those issues that may arise that you think, I want to get it sorted and know that
competent.
Exactly. So you got to bear that in mind. But as for now, for sure, definitely, this I could not be here for a bit.
Do you know when you think you need to start planning? I mean, again, not to be too specific. The reason why I say so is because
planning for it to be abroad. You mean?
Yeah, because whereas myself or French, I think our planning might be different to yours, of course, because you got children and a partner, etc., etc.
If all goes right next week, then I'm gone next week.
Do you really think you could do the reason?
100%.
Okay, cool. The reason why I say that is because I had dinner with someone, I don't know, maybe about a month or so, and they were like, my sister's gone. Like, do you know what I mean? No nonsense, packed her bag, she was off.
Yeah.
And I think someone else said the same thing as well. But then when I think about myself and when I moved to Barcelona, and although it wasn't far, like 5 months planning, and then bang, like I made a decision like instantly, I'm going to that place, and then I kind of like planned for about 5 months, and then I went. But even speaking to London and let's see the luxuries and the positives of being in London, and when I did come back, and although I wasn't gone for long, there was a freshness at times to London. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad to be back. Do you know what I mean? So I'll never, I don't want to say shit on London. I mean, I do, all right? But I'll never shit on London.
We know you do.
Huh?
We know you do.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can live here like that. I guess some of the things we said, like, speak to what we're talking about now. I just don't think the lifestyle is conducive, or I don't think we can constantly or continually live that lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm constantly run down. Looking for an hour, you know what I mean, or a day or what have you, just to kind of like kick back and relax, and I can't find that. Whereas like I feel like in another country, I just feel that because it's in their culture, do you know what I mean, to maybe be a bit more relaxed, and it's not in their culture to work 24/7. Do you know what I mean? It then has an effect on you and an influence on you to actually chill, relax, etc., etc. as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Do you think? You've kind of answered anyway in regards to either, well, in some respect, do you feel you would go somewhere that might be a bit more modern, like a Dubai? Because a lot of people seem to be going to Dubai, as you mentioned before, which is almost like home from home in some respect.
Have you been to Dubai?
No, I haven't, but I'm speaking to the experience that people are talking about in terms of there's a lot of London is in London.
Right now, he's gone over there for a few months, and he's like, I need to come back next month. What is it? No, April, May, June. No, he's coming back in June, I believe. He's like, it gets too hot here.
Oh yeah,
I've heard about that in the summer.
I can't stay here for the summer.
Yeah,
so.
no, no one does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, for me, it's a bit, and I haven't been there, so I can't really speak on it without the actual knowledge. But it just seems, from what I've seen from pictures online and stories, seems a bit superficial for me.
100%.
So I'm a man that I like to learn about history, and there's no history there. Like, there's nothing to go back and say, oh, well, this has been there for 100 years, 1,000 years, or whatever, because it's just been built up. It's been just basically a barren desert, so to speak. So it wouldn't pique my interest for that long. Like, it would be good for a few weeks, a few months, or whatever, whatnot. But once
the dust has settled.
Yeah, it's like, all right, cool. What's there to learn over here? And there won't be much. So that doesn't really, it's not on my top of the list to go and visit, yet let alone, I would say, to stay there permanently. But I understand the pull for it because there's a lot of tax-free incentives, the weather, the lifestyle and things of that nature. So I understand it. But for me personally, on a long-term note, it wouldn't be somewhere that I would choose.
And are employment opportunities the most important thing for you, or like potential business opportunities? I don't know, you might not have thought about those sort of things.
Both.
Okay, cool. And yourself?
What's that?
Is it just working opportunities that you're looking for, or potential business opportunities too?
Yeah, probably not business opportunities, probably employment opportunities.
Okay, cool. Go on.
I was going to say, but you never know. You can go somewhere and be inspired.
Facts.
Very much so.
But I was going to say, add on to the point in terms of depending where you go, because I remember when we was living in Cyprus, when we had the barbershop over there, and at the time we're just coming fresh from London off the road or whatnot, and they do this kind of hour every day of siesta. They genuinely do that. So we was like, we're still hustling and doing whatever we're doing, and there's a shop across the road. They shut down, go home, go for lunch or whatnot. Not to say we couldn't understand it, but it was just like, right, like, no man, I was in a hustle right now, so I ain't stopping for nothing. But now that I'm where I'm at now, I can look back at it and reflect and be like, no, do you know what? That is a great idea, and I would definitely implement that in my life.
Yeah, brilliant. Even
I went to be in that within, because it's everyone. It's not just an individual. It's everything and everywhere. It's across the land. So I respect it.
Similar to, because back in the day, I knew Spain had their siesta, right?
Yeah, it's not so much like that now. It doesn't appear like that anyway.
Okay, well, it'll probably depend on what part of Spain.
Yeah.
I guess the more built up places not gonna be like that. But when I done a few years ago, I done a mini road trip in certain parts of Italy, and when we went to the kind of East Coast, which I think is like, I can't remember where, Monopoly and a few other places on that side, Lecce, bro. Like the first couple of days, we're like when I say we was running around, like, wow, where can we get lunch? Otherwise, we're in like if you're hungry and have breakfast, where can you get lunch? Because you're in trouble. There's nowhere open and no one on the streets. When I say nowhere open, no one on the streets. So your belly's gonna rumble for 2 hours if you ain't thought about it. Literally. Like, and that's how it was over there. I was like, and 2 hours. I was like, what is going on over here? But as you said, like, it makes sense and you get it. So yeah, I definitely get it. It makes sense, man, just to build that back into your life. It's nice, man. Non-stop, yeah. Sometimes I don't even get a proper chance for lunch or any of that.
Yeah, no, it ran me ragged, for real.
Cool. The type of legislation you need to keep on top of to keep your wealth. What type of legislation do you need to keep on top of your wealth? Tax laws. Income tax. I'll go through these. Both personal and corporate if you own a business. Rate changes, new brackets, or special surcharges. Capital gains tax, especially if you invest in stocks, real estate, or startups. Wealth taxes. Some countries and states are introducing or increasing taxes on net worth, not just income. Inheritance taxes. Laws around how your wealth is transferred after death can heavily affect long-term planning. Look out for changes in exemptions, tax rates, and how trusts are treated. These are things I'm not really, even with the passing of a parent, I don't have like great knowledge in regards to these things. And actually, these are still like conversations which are kind of like ongoing in regards to, do you know this or do you know that? Or Andrew, I think you need to look into this, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? So these are things that are genuinely important, actually.
I'm aware of quite a few of these.
Okay, cool.
Not to say I have great knowledge, but I'm definitely aware of quite a few of them.
Okay. Real estate ownership laws. For those holding wealth in property, legislation around property taxes, foreign ownership restrictions, and rent controls can affect both cash flow and appreciation. Cryptocurrency and digital assets regulation. If you hold crypto, governments are rapidly tightening rules around taxation, reporting, and custody. I think that's quite important as well, actually, because for someone who trades, actually, sometimes I might have a conversation with, let's say, Oscar, for example, in regards to is it taxable? And I think I was listening to someone from the UK talking about how when he's doing Forex in regards to actual currencies, it's not taxable. So he doesn't need to pay any tax. Whereas in regards to if you're trading futures, it is taxable. Do you know what I mean? And I guess on a not day-to-day basis, but my knowledge in regards to some of those things are not as tight as they need to be.
What about the cryptos?
Crypto, I still, again, like, I mean, mind you, I don't own much of crypto, so I don't have, let's say I don't need to maybe understand the laws as much. I think it's something that I probably need to, because I think I still want to get involved in crypto and stuff like that. But my knowledge is very, very limited in regards to that. But I think I think it's very similar to, I think when you have stocks, as to when you sell your stock, then it becomes taxable. Yeah, so that's what I believe. But obviously, I encourage people to do their own research. And the last one I have here is residency, and citizenship laws. Wealthy individuals often seek tax-friendly residencies. Countries sometimes change their rules around who can qualify and what benefits apply. E.g., Portugal recently scaled back its golden visa perks. I think that's interesting as well, because I know in Ghana, I think they've relaxed a lot of their rules in regards to people who can, one, visit there, but at the same time can actually find residency as well there. I think a lot of people from the States, they're saying, are beginning to actually look for, one, another place to live in regards to going to Ghana, but at the same time, business opportunities as well. Because they're beginning to talk about Ghana a lot on, oh my God, Market Mondays. Come on, I forgot the name of the brand.
Earn your leisure.
Thank you. Yes, and your leisure. Yeah, so they're talking about that a lot. So yeah, I think what they were saying was, yo, at this given point in time, having two passports is very much needed. But they're talking about from the point of view from the States. You know what I mean? Given what's going on over there. But I guess the same thing would apply to even like what we were talking about before in regards to Dubai and stuff like that. Just understanding what would be the residency laws. And the same actually applied to me in regards to Spain as well. Like, do you know what I mean? I probably didn't. No, I won't say I didn't do my due diligence. That'd be wrong. I had an opportunity to. No, sorry. People advised me to find employment before Brexit finally went through, because if I'd found employment, then I'd have some form of grounds to be able to stay. Do you know what I mean? Have permanent residency, but it's not something that I wished to do at the time. I don't regret it actually.
What do you mean?
I don't regret not having like residency in Barcelona. I mean, it would have been nice, but actually, I guess the pandemic happened. Sorry, and then I just feel my reasons for living in Spain originally, I think, just kind of changed with the way life changed as well. Yeah, so I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any.
What's I know, not to go off track, but what made you stop wanting to be there?
I just think I think the pandemic gave me not necessarily opportunity to sit down and reflect and stuff like that, but as to the things that I wanted to do, I think it gave me an opportunity to sit down and probably refine them maybe a little bit more. So like where I'm interested in living is actually in Ghana, but actually I know I've just said that living in Barcelona is not what I want to do. I can easily find myself back there because there have been business opportunities in Spain, obviously, for me recently. So I can easily see myself go back there. But then I ask myself the question, if I go to Spain, then at what given point do I think about going to Ghana? Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. I could be wrong. I also don't think I could see my children living or being brought up in Spain. And that's just not a preference for myself. I don't know why, but like it's just not a preference for myself. So that was another thing as well, given that we're getting a little bit older. Yeah, so it was great while it lasted, but like long term, I'm just not too sure. Or maybe I'm still figuring it out. Yeah, still figuring it out. Which is why, again, I ask even questions in regards to education and stuff like that as well. So when I've had riders in my car who were born and raised in Ghana and then came to London or came to the UK at a certain given time, I've been able to go back and forth with them in regards to what their experiences were like, and they'll say they wouldn't change it for the world. Do you know what I mean? So again, that fills me with comfort in regards to some of the things that I would like to do. Yes, or one, my children will be able to be educated very, very well, but at the same time, I don't know, I guess with me being Ghanaian, they'll be able to brought up with, I guess I don't want to say culture that I lacked or missed, but again, like brought up in your culture, do you know what I mean? And even more so given that we're in the country and not necessarily in the household. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. So do you know what? They're getting off topic, so.
No, you can.
I was going to say, would you prefer to raise them in Ghana or in London?
I'm still fighting that battle. Do you know what I mean? Because London's all we know, but also London's also changing. Do you know what I mean? So like, I was actually going to ask this in regards to, obviously I know you've been away recently, like, and I think my question was, like, I'll use the analogy, like, in terms of going back to Ghana, I guess this is going to sound stupid, but with where we are now, no, I was going to say it's going back, some of the norms, whether it's in South America or in Africa, all right, right now were our norms 5-10 years ago, or maybe longer, in terms of being able to be outside and kids playing outside, all that type of stuff. Do you know what I mean? I kind of want to go back to a time or place like that. Do you know what I mean? And I think if my children are afforded the luxury to be educated in Ghana, private education in Ghana, ideally, one, they'll be educated very well, but at the same time, they'll be brought up well and with values which I think will hold them in good stead in the future. Do you know what I mean? Whereas here, we're kind of all over the place. Do you know what I mean? And I guess like sometimes social media or the internet can like magnify some of these problems, but on your day-to-day run-ins and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? Like you can just feel things ain't right here at this moment in time. And that's just from my perspective. Whereas like, I'm sure the same thing occurred in Dubai. Like once upon a time, it was a growing community.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And I like to believe like Ghana is in a place where there's a growing community of people from the diaspora, etc., etc. And I think in time, or with more time, it'll become a bit more bubbly for myself, but also for my children.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're where my thoughts are anyway.